I didn't have to want to do, okay, listen. I didn't want to have to do this, right? But some of you will not admit that there is a problem with Euphoria Season 2. I mean, the problem is that it makes no damn sense. Now listen, stay with me on this ride before you judge me. Okay. Now I know first things first, I know what you're thinking. How can you be judging what's in Euphoria? The whole season's not out yet. It doesn't need to be. First of all, it's already rough. It's already watching it, you're already going, huh? You know a major motion television series is having a problem when every point that it set out of its way to make in season 1 has been undone in season 2. And everything that they set up in season 1 has been ignored in season 2. For why? For why? You know, you spent all this time doing certain things and now, poof, it's gone. The other reason why I feel comfortable making this already, even though the season is not done, is because the whole season's been leaked. I read the entire leak and I will go over it much later. I'll give you spoiler warnings. Don't even worry about it if you don't want to know. I totally respect that. The spoilers have been confirmed because I waited. The spoilers came out like in late January. 2 episodes have come out since then and followed the spoiler format. And the preview for the next episode has a plot point almost exactly written that would be in the spoilers. So I'm like, okay, yeah, obviously the spoilers are true. Someone from the team did leak the entire plot line of Euphoria Season 2. Who did that is not my problem, but the content of the season is definitely my problem. First of all, let's just start with season 1. Okay, if you've never seen Euphoria, first of all, hello. I don't know how you ended up here. Cool, welcome. But season 1 was an absolute crazy amalgamation of all the issues of teen life put into one, and somehow Sam, the director and writer of the series, creator, same guy who apparently this is autobiographical as much as it can be because the lead character is not him, did a fantastic job of putting all this together without making it corny. And this is the same person who has an incredible point of view for film. Let's just start there. Let's start with the good stuff, okay? Euphoria is good stuff. The casting is fantastic. Okay? The characters, the actors that they have managed to find for these characters, not only are they all brand new, which I'm obsessed with and love, but they're also just incredibly devoted. And as a fellow professional actor who's been working for years, I have a show on Amazon, and I've been working in professional theater for a long time. I can just outright say that these people that they have found are doing their absolute damnness to tell an authentic story. It almost seems like they are the people from this series, and that is a beautiful thing and really cool to watch them just take flight. 2 of the actors I found out are from my area, which I was like, wow, that's so cool. This is Central Jersey. Another good thing, the storytelling through film is absolutely stunning. The visual effects really are what set Euphoria apart as like this generation's it show. You know, like Degrassi, move over, we have Euphoria, and we're ready to talk about the content. Another good point, the show is entirely unapologetic. It knows what it is, it knows how harsh it is, and it doesn't care. It's like, this is what it is, you're gonna deal with it. We don't care that the content is rough. We're telling the story. We're interested in telling this story. We know that it's been done before. We don't care because we're trying it in a new way. And the new way is with the visual effects that they have encountered. And whoever hired the makeup artist and costumer for Euphoria accidentally made the show, I think season 1 made the show one of the greatest storytelling teen dramas on HBO of all time. And as we all know, Zendaya took home the best actress win for an Emmy Award for her performance in the show. So there is no question that the content and the performances, especially at first in season 1, were very strong, you know, and that Zendaya was like ready to do it, which is just so rock and roll awesome. And then season 1 ended. Now, I had started watching Euphoria the second that it first came out, so I was watching that show and nobody else was. Like, I've been watching it since episode 1 premiered. And that's weird for me because I am not a TV show watcher at all, but I was interested in the content. I was interested because it was Zendaya. I kind of was like, what is she going to be doing in this? Like, what could possibly happen in this show? I just was like, I'm interested. I want to see what happens. The visuals already, the poster alone with her crying is very aesthetic. I'm like, okay, I'm interested. What could this be? And in fact, at the time, I was so enthralled by the first few episodes, by the first episode even, that I was sending it to other people. I was suggesting it. I was like, yo, have you seen Euphoria? Like, it's amazing. It's really great what they're doing. They're really trying something different here. Like, and it promises to be a really authentic telling of this era, because I don't know about you, but these people on the show, we know these people. I know these people. You know what I mean? I'm friends with these people. I know who these people are. You know, everyone has these people in their lives. We know these people. So that's another thing, another feather in their cap. We know that the people of Euphoria are telling the truth, that these are real people. And that's immediately why I was interested, because it didn't seem corny. I'm oh my God, so tired of teen shows being absolutely so corny. And then as the season went on, it continued to be not corny, and it continued to tell interesting stories. It continued to bring up points for things you didn't even expect, like the whole issue with Nate and Nate's father. Like, how many times have you seen something like that before? But it doesn't seem out of the realm of possibility that these people exist, because we know these people exist. Oh, by the way, I will be doing spoilers from season 1, obviously. If you have not watched Euphoria, I am not sure why you are here, but why not stick along for the ride? Let's just see what happens if you have not. And if you're cool with spoilers, that's fine with me. So I think for season 2, I'm just going to go person by person over the characters. We'll talk a little bit about their arc from season 1, and then I'll talk about where they are in season 2 and why it makes no sense, because I don't think a single one of these characters, except maybe Rue, have a reason to be acting the way that they're acting in season 2. I will say this, Rue's truth, if you will, has carried through the whole show, okay? There is not a moment that I'm watching Rue's character, except maybe one in season 2 that I'll talk about, that I think, oh, this seems unrealistic. No, every single thing that character has done, I'm like, yeah, I believe that. And maybe that's because the writer and director, Sam, has based his life on has based the show on his life. So it would follow then that it makes the most that sounds so corny. It makes the most sense that it's real, because it probably was. There's moments in the show that I assume actually happened to him in real life, which is why it feels so true. Instead of just your normal teen bopper drama of, oh my God, they're doing drugs. No, like it feels realistic. And even as somebody who has come very close to his similar lifestyle, I can say that I have also been in situations like these where you're sitting there and you're like, okay, nothing here is out of the realm of possibility, which is great. Everybody else, no. So why don't we just go ahead? Let's just start us off. Let's just start off with Rue. Rue season 1. We're interested in everything going on with her, mainly because what they're doing with the drugs. I like that they're naming all the drugs. We know exactly what she's taking. We know exactly the effects. We know what's going on there. And every time she takes it, they do this great visualization moment to show us what it's like. Even though the one thing that feels unrealistic about it, as someone who has done drugs, is that the instantaneous effect that they keep trying to push on us is not necessarily true, especially if she's taking it orally. Then no, the likelihood of these instantaneous effects that we're seeing on television is not realistic. But we can forgive that, because that's just part of the drama. That's part of the storytelling. Like, that's not crazy to us, right? Through season 1, she goes through some insane ups and downs, relapsing, finding Ali as a sponsor and lying to his face. And the whole time, obviously, we're hurt, but whatever. And then lying to Jules. But nothing that occurs seems absolutely like there's no way that would have happened. We arrive at season 2, and just like that, all the problems that have been created for season 1 instantaneously gone, right? Suddenly Jules is back from her trip to where exactly? Is back, and now Rue is just like, relapses at the end of season 1 in this fantastic musical number, which if you haven't seen, you should watch it. It's available on YouTube. It's really cool. Even if you haven't seen the show, the musical number aspect of it and Labyrinth's music are just, I go around listening to that song in my workout routine. I just think it's fire. I love Zendaya's rendition of it. She sings the shit out of it and then dances it. It's awesome.
It's a musical with song and dance and sweet romance and happy endings happening by happenstance. You want to be great, then you got to create a musical.
I'm kind of like, it's corny. That's maybe the one corny part, but she serves it in such a way that I totally believe that the High created that sort of spaced out dream. A lot of people thought she was dead. I will say that that's a problem that she's had with Rue season 1, is that I think the director Sam Levinson sort of intended that she died in the middle of that overdose sequence when she relapses, and that there is supposed to be no season 2. But then the show became one of HBO's biggest hits of all time, and then they had to make a season 2 because they weren't going to let that money pit go anywhere. Because all the writing, I think it was meant to be, if I'm being honest with you, I think Euphoria was meant to be a 1-season show. And then just like that, no HBO other shows jokes intended, they had to come back for season 2. And I think that they prefaced that to see if people would be interested by releasing those 2 random 1 episodes, the 1 episode of Rue and the 1 episode of Jules, especially over the pandemic because they had to stop film production. But you would think in all of that time that they had to themselves that they would have really focused some more on the writing. And now here we are in season 2. Now, everything about Rue's plotline so far, nothing particularly suspect. Jules is back. Why is she back? Your guess is as good as mine. She came back on the train because where did she go? Why is she back? There's some questions about that, but they get back together almost immediately. Rue is continuously struggling with her drug addiction. We're not seeing how she's doing in school. Are these kids in school? I'm kind of interested. Or is school just an aesthetic place for them to hang out? Because how are their grades? That's something I'd like to talk about. These are all high school students, supposedly. You know, my friend Jared brought up to me that if the show was about 20-somethings, it would be way more believable that they were just like at home bumming it, slumming it, because that's something people are doing post-pandemic. You know, people are not moving out. There's nowhere to go. We don't have money to be paying for apartments and whatnot, especially because we're all so touch deprived and starved of attention from everybody else. Why wouldn't we just go back to our homes with our parents wherein this would take place? And you can still throw parties with your friends that you remember from high school. Okay, Rue season 2. So far, so good. Continuously, still issues are being created. She seems like any other real drug addict that we know. She's going out of her way to find a fix from wherever she can get it. And sort of damning the consequences, and like any real high schooler, not doing a very good job of covering her tracks. Especially when you consider that she intercepts $10,000 worth of drugs of many forms after hatching a cockamamie plan to get the drug dealer woman to give them to her, decides to hide them under her bed. Now, is that a fault of the show or is that a fault of the character? I feel like that's a fault of the character. Rue, to me, I buy from her character arc so far that she has not done a very good job of covering her tracks, because she has not done a very good job of covering her tracks so far either. And she's not a very nice person. So if you get close to her in any way, she's kind of like a snapping dog and she will bite at you or bark at you like she does to Ali. I will say there were 2 points in season 2 that I'm like, what are you doing? The first one was this. When Rue is at this party at the top of season 2, where she first comes across Jules again, seeing Jules basically leads her to go into somebody's car and take the leftover heroin that this other character, who is irrelevant so far, but I'm sure, but has a purpose later, so I've been told, leaves in the car for them. So she goes and she takes the heroin off screen, we're led to believe, and then goes back to the party and stumbles through the party. Now, hold on. As most people, you would know that you can't just get up and walk around after you take something like that. It's pretty hard, especially for someone who has no tolerance for drugs like that, or so we're led to believe, because what we thought she's been taking so far are psychedelics and sort of low-grade morphine. So taking real heroin, she would not be able to just get up and just go bebop around this party again. It just is not possible. But okay, we can run with it. The other part of season 2 so far that just is so... why? It's corny. It took me from the story almost immediately. First of all, the introduction of these 2 other characters who, in my opinion, are not only useless, but are upsetting. Like, who are these people and why do we care? After the introduction of these characters, it ends up with Rue in a situation with Fezco and the blonde and the blonde's boyfriend at a different drug dealer's house. Now we're led to believe that this person has a connection to Mouse, who was murdered in season 1, sort of accidentally, purposefully, by Fez and Ashtray. But here we are in season 2, and they're at this drug dealer woman's house, and really they're being roughed up by her partner, or her, I don't know what, her lackey. And everyone else is stripped naked, and Zendaya is not. Now, if you are an actor, now I don't know if you're not an actor, would this scene seem jarring to you? I'm not sure, but as an actor, it was immediately jarring for a few reasons, because I know the truth. A second that I see a scene like that, and I see everyone around you basically be stripped, but not you, then I know that there is a clause in your contract that says that you cannot be made naked in the series at all. And it is immediately ripping me from the story, because your prerogative as an actor now takes precedence over the storytelling for the show that you've signed up for and already won an award for. Now, immediately to me, this was jarring, because it seemed like in season 1, Zendaya was willing to go to whatever lengths she needed to go to tell this story. And now here we are in season 2, and she won't even get naked when everybody else around her is getting naked. Now listen, do I blame her for this? No. She's got a pretty big background. She's in Spider-Man. She doesn't want negative attention from this series going elsewhere, which I understand. She's also an executive producer on the show. So now I have some questions. Zendaya is an executive producer on the show. Obviously, she trusts where the show is going. She has some say in the writing. Why would you keep that in? Why would you keep in a scene where everyone else gets naked except you? I'm not blaming you for choosing that you don't want to show your body on screen. Fine, I don't care. I don't think anyone cares that you decided that you wanted to not do a nudity scene. Okay, cool, whatever. But for the authenticity of the story, don't you think a rewrite was in order? The situation should be like this. If not everyone's getting naked, no one should be getting naked, because the second that the drug dealer took her to the other room to strip in the bathroom, come on. All of us are sitting there like this. Really? Really? She gets the princess treatment when everybody else gets to be naked on screen. You know, I'm seeing this girl's whole entire body naked, but Zendaya gets to get a drug dealer to take her in the other room. Why didn't everyone get that same treatment? You see what I'm saying? It jerks you out of the story, because you know that the reason that she's doing that is just for selfish. It's the actor doing that for selfish reasons. It's not storytelling. No drug dealer is like,
are you not comfortable? Are you not comfortable taking your
like holding a gun to your head saying,
are you not comfortable getting naked in here? Here, let's go in the bathroom so you can change.
Girl, bye. What? Why wouldn't you just rewrite the scene so that nobody gets naked? Okay? You don't have to get naked, HBO, for us to believe it's a dangerous situation. You're in a random drug dealer's house with a gun to your head. We believe it's a dangerous situation. And now that Zendaya can't do the authentic scene just like everybody else, you should definitely not keep it. It's ridiculous. That was a jarring moment for me. Now, some other issues with Rue. Season 5 just premiered yesterday. That's what I'm making. I'm making it Monday. It premiered yesterday. The chase scene with the cops. That would never happen. Cops have a no chase policy. I know they don't tell you that, but I could tell you that from drag racing. And for Rue, why was she being chased? Why was she being chased? Okay, you want me to believe the reason that she was being chased was because what? The family called the cops. The family whose house she broke into. She breaks into a house in season 2. By the way, spoilers, obviously. She breaks into a house in season 2 to steal some money in the middle of her weird going through withdrawal moment. She's going through the house. She takes some stuff. She hides under the bed. Again, Rue is not good at hiding things or covering her tracks. She gets caught and found and somehow makes it out of the house. Tell me how that happened. Tell me how she managed to make it out of the house. But okay, fine. We believe that Rue has the luck of a 4-leaf clover through this entire episode. That she has the luck of the 4-leaf clover, just breaking out of things, running from the cops, running from this house, running from the drug dealer whose home she went to and padlocked all the doors. Sure, we believe that she's just super spy Rue breaking out of everything she gets into. Fine, okay, fine. Why were the cops chasing her that much? And why were the cops chasing her at all? So as I was saying, if the family calls up the police, says, oh yeah, we were robbed, we found who robbed us. Let's just guess for a second how they described her. Let's just guess. A thin, light-skinned black girl, kind of tall, with long hair. That could be anyone. That could literally be anybody. What are some other, like, you're telling me if you didn't go out and drive down the street right now, you wouldn't see 7 other people by the same description? That's all you have to go by. And yet somehow she gets to the end of the road, right? She's a high school student, right? So nothing really suspect, walk into the end of the road and the cops just stop. Why? Because I guess they're like, okay, she kind of matches the description. But even then, wouldn't they think to themselves, oh, I don't know. Like she vomits on the side of the road and that incites a chase scene? How did this become that? That's my question. If they suspected her for breaking in, wouldn't they have said that? Wouldn't they have stopped and been like, excuse me, miss, where have you been tonight? Not, are you okay? And they're like, where are you headed? She's like, home. And then she said home and then she started to feel sick. Now, why wouldn't they get out and be like, are you okay? Do you need a ride? Like, what's wrong? Why, like, the scene went not at all the way that it just doesn't even make sense. Why chase someone to that effect, right? Even if they were robbed, there is no way it incites a chase scene of that magnitude. That doesn't even make sense. The FBI don't pursue someone at the level that those random cops were pursuing that girl. Like, are you serious? That's just not a thing. They're not doing that. No cops. They're looking around. They might follow you from 1 to 2. They're not following you 7 locations. They're not following you through oncoming traffic. They're going to call somebody and say, they got somebody headed down Montrose. Can you come up and grab her? And after that, she's gone. Okay? Like, come on now. Come on. That whole scene. I was like, is this serious right now? Are they really serious? They're chasing her through a party? They went through a party to go after this girl on private property? Police aren't allowed to do that. They're not allowed to go on private property. Come on. That scene was so for shock factor. It just was silly to me. It was just ridiculous. But that's what we've seen from Rue so far. And the Rue running around, why is she limping? Does she have a foot problem? I don't know. What's going on here? And Rue season 2, we don't know like what she's on. We don't know what the effects are. It seems to be fine because she's going around day to day just functioning, whatever. That doesn't mean she doesn't have an addiction. Don't get me wrong. But that doesn't mean that she's not taking drugs that she should not be and that it's a bad amount. Of course. How did we get here is my question. And how come we're missing all the effects of the drugs and whatnot that we saw in season 1? Season 1 was so information tunnel interested in telling us the story about the drugs and what they do and their effects and how it ruins your day-to-day relationships. Season 2, we're just grasping at straws. We're grasping at straws about what it is, why, because we're asking ourselves, well, if she's fine functioning on a day-to-day basis, what's the problem? Which is not true for real life, but it surely is true for storytelling, in which you have to continuously show us that there's a problem. And we haven't seen that again until now, episode 5, where she has had an intervention, or rather that she pretended to get clean to get $10,000 worth of drugs, which frankly, the idea that she could get teen girls to sell it already is the fact that she sold the idea that she could get teen girls to sell these products is already far-fetched.
This is an amazing plan.
We already don't believe you. But I could see why the drug dealer, I could even go there. I could even follow enough to say, okay, fine, maybe the drug dealer's like, well, honestly, if you win, I get my money. If you lose, I get my money. You know what I mean? Because she said it herself, which is that don't fuck this up, Rue. Because if you do, I will sell you. I will kill you, or I will sell your body to some people who would not be so nice. So I can understand even why the drug dealer woman would be like, honestly, you know what? It's cool if whatever happens, happens. Okay, second person, Jules. Man, what have they done to this character, dude? Like, if we didn't like Jules before, at least we understood her logic. New kid in town. She likes what she likes. She's got a dark past. What happened to the, like, fun, edgy kind of Jules? I know that's screwed up. It's really screwed up because she had a problem when she was in high school. But at the same time, at least she, like, had her own life and had her own personality. Even if that life and personality was really problematic and something that she should not have been doing at her age, at least we followed who she was. You're like, okay, you're getting an idea for who this person is. Because Jules is the type of person who would eventually, once she graduated high school, move to New York City. You know, this is the kind of person who you think would become fashion. A big fashion person in the city, you know, or drag, or like personality, or like trend-setting styles. Maybe she would become famous on Instagram. I'm frankly surprised that the character of Jules is not already famous on something like Tumblr. She gets Tumblr energy. She's maybe too young for Tumblr, but I'm just saying. And then here we are in season 2.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service.
Season 1, we think she's done it. She has done it. Great job, Jules. You have finally cut off the problems that you have. You confronted Nate, good job. You left Rue behind, who was turning you into somebody that you were not. And you know, sometimes toxic relationships like that, we all out here want to vote for Rue because we're like, yeah, you left us. No, Jules got herself out of a toxic relationship. And the character deserves all the power in the world for that. That she said, I can't be with you anymore. I can't do this anymore. You have to decide what you want for yourself. Unfortunately, just like any other true relative of a drug addict, you have to say at the end of the day, you need to choose this for yourself, and I cannot stop you if you continue to self-destruct. I'm sorry. And frankly, I need to go live for myself again. So she goes to the city. And frankly, I was like, honestly, go. When it was me watching, I was like, go, girl, go. Just leave, bro. Season 2, she comes right back. Why? Why are you back, Jules? Why are you back? And what are you hoping to get done? Everything that you set out for, this is a writing problem. Everything that she decided in season 1, every decision that she made, every reason that she's like, I'm not going to be with you anymore, suddenly erased in episode 1. The storytelling wants me to believe that she was just caught up in the moment, whatever she saw Rue, she missed her, she's like, oh my God, I love you, and she thinks Rue is clean, so she's back with her. Now, do girls like this exist? Yeah, sure. People that are manipulated and whatnot. I don't think Jules is one of those people. Jules in season 1 has shown us that she is stronger than that she is above these games, and that she is not afraid to reach out for help when she needs it. And season 2, Jules has forgotten all of that. Season 2, Jules lives just for Rue. Has nothing going on for herself, no interests. What does she do when she gets home? We certainly don't know. The story is not being told. She is living for the purpose of making Rue feel guilty about lying. And then Ethan comes in.
The number you have dialed has been changed.
Okay. Now I know people are blaming Jules. Oh, you shouldn't have told her mom. Of course she should have. They're in high school. What was she supposed to do? The person that she's in love with is killing herself. She's gonna tell her mom, as she should, period. But the character of Jules seems to be erased. What happened to that entire plot line with Nate? Why is that gone in season 2? Where did it go? You've mentioned it for 2 seconds, maybe because Nate had a flashback from Cassie to Jules. But where did they, believe me, we will get there with them. But what happened to everything that she was doing in season 1? What happened to any of that? And what happened to the Nate thing? You're telling me now that she sees him in high school, she doesn't think anything of it? She's just going down the hallway, never seeing him, not worrying about it, period, it's over? And then the introduction of Ethan, who she immediately doesn't like.
I'm not gonna get along with him.
Ethan, to me as a character, why is he here? Why is he here? What purpose? What purpose? Who is this person? Why do we care? I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand the purpose of that character, and I especially don't understand why we're supposed to find him attractive when he has the literal Apple Macintosh logo tattooed on his face. That's your man. That's your man's. He's got the Macintosh logo tattooed under his eye because he wants you to know he is not an Android user right up front.
Hi everyone, sorry, it's me editing. I was just about this second years old when I found out it's not a character choice, that's the actor's actual tattoo. Now, why they wouldn't choose to cover it and why they kept it in the show, I have no idea. Okay, high school students, let's go off. And sorry to Dominic Fike for accidentally roasting your under eye tat. And for getting your character's name wrong.
That's your man's. He's doing drugs and he's using Apple products. Why? Like, why? And why is he here? Where did he go for season 1? Why is he back in season 2? Who is this person? If he was there the whole time because he was the one that Rue lost his virginity to, why is he back? What's his purpose in season 2? Other than to help her do drugs? Again, she was going to do them anyway. You didn't need a whole character to do it. I mean, God knows she had places she figured out pretty soon to get the drugs from. What, is he supposed to be like an escape for Jules because he's just Rue with a penis? I don't understand. I don't know what his point is. Is it just to help her figure it out? You're telling me you couldn't have found a different way for Jules to figure out that Rue is still using? In fact, if you had not even incorporated that character, you probably would have incorporated everything from season 1 about Rue's actual life, and the doing the drugs would probably have been more in depth in season 2. And then it would have been more authentic if Jules had found out for herself somehow. Now, I don't know how, because it seems like in season 2, all we're doing is reveals for shock factor. Like when Rue just announced in the middle of this intervention that she ran from one house after this police chase. Ends up at her best friend's house just to reveal to the entire group that just happens to be there, which is not out of the question, but just reveals to them for shock factor that guess what? Cassie's been sleeping with Nate the entire time. All of the reveals so far in the season have been for shock factor, and it's been tiring. And another reveal I'll get to now. Let's move on now to Nate. Nate. What have they done to you? What have they done to, I just want to know, who is Nate? Who is Nate at this point? Who is he? Is he the stock jock quarterback? Is he a closeted gay man? Is he someone with these huge anger issues? Or does he want the American dream? You have now presented 5 different versions of this one character because the writers are choosing to make Nate the evil of the series. And they are choosing to do it however they need. He is 7 different evil characters in one person. And it doesn't even make sense at this point. What is Nate looking for? Why is Nate doing what he's doing? Who does Nate really want? We have so many questions that in season 1, we knew exactly who he was, and we felt pity for him because of his screwed up beyond comprehension situation. Like the fact, I mean, what do you do when, you've been watching porn or crazy porn from such a young age that the images that you crave just get sicker and sicker and sicker? Fine. I mean, and it's a whole nother level when you figure out that your father has been recording himself with these various men and trans women, often horribly and not with their permission, for this collection that he came across when he was a child. And his older brother is a screw up, so he has now got to correct everything that the family has done wrong. And we are led to believe that the family is untouchable. Cal is untouchable, and we'll get to Cal. But we are led to believe that everything about them is untouchable. Now, the person we were presented with in season 1 is this devil-may-care, evil, stock jerk who realizes that he can do whatever he wants. These people exist. Sure. Fine. Yeah, totally. And inside, he's got a deep, dark secret. I don't know about you, but in season 2, I would have been more interested in fleshing that out. We've barely seen him. And when we have seen him, he's been slumming it with Cassie because of a head trauma injury. Quick question. Why? What? Why? I understand getting lost in the heat of the moment. You know, you see this girl on the side of the road and she's such a help me situation. And as we all know, Nate is attracted to help me situations because they mentioned that in season 1, which I think makes sense, that Maddie, for all her big mouthedness, is just a scared little girl who is deserving of love. She's a perfect epitome of a woman that every man wants, kind of thing, right? And I think that Maddie shares a lot of the same, Cassie shares a lot of the same qualities that Maddie has. But what happened to Jules? What happened to that? What happened to the attraction? And wouldn't, after Jules leaves town and then suddenly comes back to the high school, wouldn't that elicit some sort of confrontation of some kind? Wouldn't that elicit some leftover feelings or something? I mean, they barely acknowledge each other after everything that's happened. And they were in love. They were sending text messages, photos, everything that they could think of, and now it's just gone. And instead, does he really want to be with Cassie? I don't believe it. The storytelling doesn't add up to that. And we all know the truth, which is that Maddie from season 1 would never let any of the shit that has happened in season 2 happen. Maddie is not stupid. And if anything, Maddie is obsessive as shit. So in all those scenes where he's ignoring her phone calls and doing all these other things, you don't think she would confront him at school why have you been ignoring my phone calls or something? This is the girl that got in front of a giant crowd of people and did that most iconic moment in Euphoria season 1, just I guess because I'm such a whore, you don't want me or whatever, Where did that girl go? And I'm mentioning Nate and Kat and Maddie together because their stories are tied. And it doesn't make sense that they have ended up where they have ended up. You know, Maddie is an obsessive person. We all know a girl like that. She is all in because what else does she have to be interested in? This is not somebody that's interested in college. This is not somebody that's interested in all these other. She's interested in looking good, having a boyfriend that everyone wants, who she is in love with and obsessed with, and would not let him go that easily. So here we are, and it's as though she has totally allowed herself to be blind to everything going on. And I can't fathom that Cassie and Maddie have been together this entire time and that she wouldn't know what she's doing. You're telling me that Maddie's not contacting Cassie, he won't answer me? I don't understand why he's not picking up. What are you doing tonight? Especially if Maddie is free, she's not babysitting every night, okay? What was the point of telling that babysitting story in the first place? Why do we care that she's been babysitting? We care about the fact that she's obsessed with Nate, and wouldn't she have figured out the situation with Cassie? Why did Rue figure it out before her? There is no way on God's green earth. Maddie is obsessed with him. She would have been sniffing up his ass. This is the kind of girl that's ringing the doorbell. Open up, open up, open up. Not... Come on. It's just upsetting because how the mighty have fallen. This character that we love, the audience loves Maddie. We love her. We love her style. We love the way she looks. We love the way she presents herself. We love the way she keeps it real. We know this person. The funny thing is, we love her on TV. We're scared of that girl in real life. But that especially like would add to the drama of the situation that, you know, you can't pull the blinds over on Maddie. Maddie's not stupid. She is surely not stupid. This is the kind of girl, to reckon you back to season 1, who would rehearse making noises and sex positions just to keep Nate interested. If you think for a second that she isn't following the project that she's been working on all this time, then you're crazy. And the idea that her best friend is who had no interest in him in season 1. Not a single second of eye contact. We didn't even see eye contact between the two characters. Is now gone. And now all of a sudden, Cassie and him are in love. No. I can believe that he's using Cassie as a very close copy of Jules, but it still doesn't equate to the same thing. And if he is exploring his sexuality, where did that go? Another thing. Season 1, Nate. Absolute ticking time bomb. Fighter, screamer, had to be held down to the ground. When he confronted his father in this season, he has not blown up on his father once. Let that sink in for a second. It took a pin to drop for him to fight his father in season 1. Season 2, it's like Cal's a child and he doesn't have time to talk to him. And I don't understand where the flip came from. When he confronted Cal with that ammo of having the tape of Jules and knowing that he had sex with Jules, who was an underage child, at the time that the tape was recorded. You're telling me that he just said it point blank like that? Just, well, when you had sex with my friend. I'm tired. I hate it here. I hate it here. Come on. That was the biggest ticking time bomb of season 1, was that information. And season 2 just revealed it in the most boring, sad way possible. And then Cal spun out as a result, which made no sense either, because Cal is literally the most obsessive, closeted person ever. So Nate figuring out that information would probably lead Cal to want to murder his child, not to run from the entire family. Cal himself has said it, even in season 1. Cal is the kind of person that would track down a drug dealer because he threatened his son to save his son and family's integrity, the integrity of the name. That's all Cal's interested in. It's very selfish reasons that he's interested in the integrity and the name alone. Would just take it that his son figured it out and then go crazy with it. No. You're telling me, just listen for a second. This character has had something like 20 years of lies built up. And you think, sitting across from me, look me in my eyes, you think that Cal, in all this time, did not create a contingency plan for if his sons ever figured out what he was doing? Let that sink in for a second. With all the lies and the deceits and the cover-ups, you are telling me that he never planned for if this ever got out. Never. He had nothing. Nothing? Right. You don't think that he had some sort of plausible deniability over the whole thing, or could not come up with something because of all of his friends that are high up in the police department?
Why don't you call the cops?
The chief of police, Will Greenwood.
I just find that very, very hard to believe, especially because we know for a fact that there are many men out there like Cal who are in very high up situations. I mean, God knows the Jeffrey Epstein Black Book list is enough to figure that out. But come on now. It's interesting to tell more backstory about Cal and about his, the love of his life from when he was a teen. But you could have left all that while he was trying to figure out how he was going to make this entire fuck up situation correct. And then there was this scene with Fezco. Now, if you didn't think Euphoria this season was ridiculous after that scene, I don't know what to tell you. That scene was so ridiculous, I couldn't believe what I was watching. I just could not even fathom a scenario that we would end up at that scene. That he would have somehow figured out where Fezco's drug lord place was, gone to it unarmed with no backup, no information, no telling the police, no nothing. He would go there himself with nothing on him to confront this kid. Are you kidding? And that Fesco is obviously like, I have no idea what you're talking about, but your son is screwed up. I think you know that.
What's with your family? Are you all just a bunch of fucking assholes?
You beat up my son.
Yeah, well, he deserved it, man. He's a fucking bitch.
Oh, okay, tough guy.
If I was Cal, I would have locked Nate in the house a long time ago. I'd been like, you know what? You are homeschooled from now on. This is too much for you. Obviously, you're an emotional wreck and you can't take this. And this whole time he's supposed to be like, what, football quarterback? Have we seen that recently? Where are the plot lines? Who are these people? These are not the same people from season 1. These are just horrific walking zombie versions of themselves who have managed to let all of their interpersonal relationships go or become something totally different than it was. It just doesn't even make sense. For storytelling purposes, it doesn't even make sense. So yeah, here we are in season 2, Cal's monologue and pissing on the doorstep. Honestly, the actor did his goddamn best, but wow. What? Why is nobody yelling? Why are there no the most real confrontation finally occurred in episode 5 when Rue is caught by her mom. So that was the most real thing of this entire season. Finally, I was like, thank God something finally is starting to look like season 1. Finally, this is happening. But even then the mom was like, starts the very first line of the episode is, it's okay, I'm not mad at you. I hate it here. That character would be mad. That character has been sniffing down Rue's asshole about whether or not she was using. Sniffing. She is very invested in her daughter's life. I don't care what you say. Despite the fact that Rue got to go wherever she wanted, which to be honest, don't know how that happened in a situation like this. If I was the parent, I'd be like, you're done, you're cut off. But first thing she says is, I'm not mad at you. And I'm already angry because I want her to be mad. I want her to be like, okay, you've been lying to me this whole time, and actually confront her, which would add to the scariness of Rue's retaliation, which was very real. If that whole scene was improv, I give them kudos. It was strong work. And Zendaya showed an amazing emotional range. She had a lot to go through in that scene between the fear, the embarrassment, the grief, the loathing, the betrayal. There's a lot of emotions to unpack in that scene. And I wish her mom had given it to her a little more. I think the character, the mother, would have, to be honest, but I think that they just wanted it to come out for some reason and for it to be as non-messy as possible, which I think is stupid because part of the reason we signed up for the show is messiness. We want to see the messiness because you've done all of this to set up the elaborate messiness of the scenes and of the interpersonal relationships, and then you just let it fart off. Just like the scene where Nate confronts his father. All of this, we've been hiding all this information all this time just for that one scene that I actually was so bored, I didn't realize it was happening. I was on my phone during it, and then I realized after when my cousins texted me that had happened and had to go back and watch it again because I didn't even clock that it was an important conversation that I needed to be watching. Because it was so like, oh, well, when you decided to fuck my friend. Now, I talked to my friend Jared, and my friend Jared was like, actually, I think he was kind of a badass for that. And I'm like, but that's not who Nate is. That's not who Nate is. Nate is not like that. Nate is a ticking time bomb and would have confronted him much more vigorously. I mean, it took nothing for them to fight in season 1, and now in season 2, it's taking everything for them to even raise their voice against each other, and then Cal just left. So I'm like, okay, well, that's over. Whatever. Say goodbye to that plot line, I guess. Who's left? Oh, again, Maddie, who we've gone over already a little bit, but, just suffice to say that she's been nerfed. She's but a ghost of who she was and of the level of perception that she had in season 1. She was incredible at reading the room, reading a person. She could see you in seconds. She'd be like, what happened here? And now all of a sudden she has to be spoon-fed the information that she's not getting. And that's very upsetting. And then finally, we have Kat. Oh God. Oh my God, how the mighty have fallen. How the mighty have fallen in season 2. What did they do to Kat? They nerfed the hell out of Kat. Everything that we've worked for in season 1, everything that we've built is gone. And now her entire plotline arc is that she's bored. She's bored in her relationship. That's what we have to go off of, that she's bored. That's it. Listen, I believe it. I believe she's bored in her relationship. I mean, look at what's been going on. In season 1, she practically had an OnlyFans, right? Where she was doing like I don't even know what, she was up to something, girl. And she was dressing every day like she had a point to prove, which she did. And honestly, I was living for it. And that was the person who understood how to love themselves. I mean, even if it was a little screwed up, she was working through it constantly. And I respected it. I'm like, okay, fine. You know what? You're dressing this way because you are trying to figure out in your coming of adulthood how to reclaim your femininity and also power. And they come very much in this day and age separately. Power and femininity feel very much like the antithesis of each other. And she was learning how to reclaim them both at the same time while being a plus-sized woman who is already, you have a judgment about her already right out the gate. Now, that alone was an interesting story to follow. It was just cool. She's a cool character, cool person, good friend, no real reason to dislike her. And now in season 2, she's just sort of there, lurking in the background. Now, I've heard through the grapevine a little bit that she had a bit of an argument or something to that effect with the director or the writers or something. The actor caused drama on set, which even if she did, it doesn't fucking matter, because how petty of the writers would it be for them to change this beloved character just because you had an issue with the actor? You've hired this actor already. You've got to commit to this character at this point. It's not like Degrassi, okay? I know Drake was attached to both projects, but I thought we were aiming a little bit higher than that. She's just not even there as a friend anymore. She's not a friend to anybody at this point. She's just sort of there for her relationship when she's there, and when she's not, she's what? Sitting at home, binge watching TV or something? Where was she during any of this? I don't know. I have a huge problem with season 2, and when I get back from work, I'm going to go over what the spoilers have to say about the rest of season 2, and we'll do final wrap-up and thoughts. Hey all, what's up? I'm not going to cap, I lied to you. It's now several days later, but I did not lie to you about the fact that I would do this after work. So I just got home from work, so I'm ready to finish this. I rewatched the video, and I realized there were a few people that I missed, mainly because I forgot they existed. So let's just go ahead into that. The first one is Fezco, America's favorite NPC. Honestly, Fez's life in this season is not crazy to me. Like, there's nothing that's happened that is like very particularly jarring, and he's very much, the character has stuck to the script about the things that he's really gone out of his way to really push in season 1. So I'm happy about that, but you are crazy if you will not also admit that the episode where we talk about his grandma was absolutely insane, ridiculous. What are you talking about? Like the back, I almost wish I would have preferred it if Euphoria did not give that character a backstory, because I think it was better sort of leaving that character up to the imagination as to like, how did he get here? Because there were a number of great moments in season 1 that you're watching and you're like, how did this character get like that? And where did this little kid come from? But like, the presence of Ashtray then in season 1 was not so much a real person so much as a meme character, because we all know those drug dealers types that are like a little odd, or you've been in a situation where you're kind of like, oh, what's this? What's happening here? Or what situation? And we never sort of questioned the presence of Ashtray. When we just sort of assumed he was just there for the ride. They were brothers, like whatever. They've had a hard childhood, tough upbringing, but they own the family business now, and the family business also incorporates, and they did what they needed to do to make ends meet to provide for their grandmother. Like, that's a believable story, okay? That was believable. It was already believable. We didn't need to go further in. Nobody was doubting the authenticity of Fezco, okay? Now I am because of his backstory. Because, I mean, it's more believable leaving it up to the imagination, just knowing where they came from, than going in depth to tell a ridiculous cockamamie Disney-style drug dealer story about family values. Are you serious? It was like, is this a joke? Like, we're supposed to sit here and buy that this is like You know, like, it's just all in the family, dude. Like, you're just not, because, like, you don't understand, like, our family. Like, this is the family business is drug dealing, dude. Like, we've always been this way. We've always been real, like, and they go home to this happy, healthy, warm, environment at the end of the night. I mean, get out of here. Different editing could have changed the entire tone of all of those scenes. Even the fact that Ashtray's name is Ashtray. Why did we get into that? He is America's favorite NPC. He always was, he always will be. The background story did not give him more credit. In fact, it took some of the credit and confused us, because we're like, wait a minute, huh? Your grandmother was the one that taught you how to be a drug dealer? I mean, even the sentence feels silly coming out of my mouth.
You know, the blonde.
Who, Jules?
Look, man, I didn't know she was 17.
You telling me you had sex with Jules?
I just want the disc
What disc?
of Jewel and I.
Yo, you recorded that shit?
I didn't know.
You didn't know that you were recording?
I fucked up.
Obviously, man. Yo, who the fuck even told you I gave a shit about this anyway?
My son.
Your son, the one that's in love with Jules?
Oh, that's cute.
What?
What kind of weird-ass father-son shit is going on around here, bro?
I also totally forgot to talk about the elephant in the room, Cassie. I mean, I forgot she existed for a second. I mean, to be honest with you, Cassie, you know, it's crazy to think that I don't not believe everything that has occurred to her in season 2. I don't not believe that she would react in such a way that she's become this emotionally dependent, very attached person. But I thought she had grown enough after season 1 and the pregnancy scare with McKay to have a little more self-respect, and especially not to get involved with Nate. Why Nate is my question. Why did the writers bring in 2 new random characters to play backseat to everybody else just to stand around, and left Nate the only viable option as a male companion for everyone? Like, he's the only real male lead at this point. And why is that? You're telling me that out of that entire high school, not a single other mediocre white boy caught Maddie's attention? How did we get there? It just baffles me why they thought that Nate would be the route that it needed to happen. I mean, what if Elliot, instead of being presented as this amazing Macintosh representative, instead was the new sort of McKay, or new, like, football person or something, to that effect, that she could then pull this nonsense with him, I mean, they wanted it just for the drama. They wanted to give Maddie something to do and create drama, but by doing it with Nate, they have ruined a number of the plot lines that they have set up for themselves, and did not give any indication that she, how about found him attractive? Why don't we just start there? And I know that grief can change a person, but you don't think that's a little gross? That McKay was his best friend, and after everything that occurred, that she would do that with him? It's not out of the realm of possibility. Okay, fine. You win. It's not out of the realm of possibility. But as for choices for where the show could have gone, it would not have been in my top 3. It would not have been in my top 5 for options for what to do with Cassie. If you wanted to do something with Cassie, you could have continued to explore the decision she already made in season 1. Especially, how about abortion? Why don't we start there? Why don't we start with the aftermath of her pregnancy? Why don't we start there? Because we did a little tap on that and then just left that alone. And then McKay comes back for one episode just to really confuse us. And then Nate is all by himself with no other friends from the appearance of things, nothing to do except be bored and drive around town and make lame excuses for himself and talk to people, look at people like this. It's so corny.
I pretend I do not see.
It is so corny. And I'm just like, you know, you have so many mediocre white boys to pick from in high school. Why did it have to be Nate? Why couldn't you have introduced a new character and added other issues with that? It could have been all sorts of cool drama. And the final character, which is a character that I don't consider a role, much less a lead, because, I mean, what has she done? What do we care? Like, literally, what purpose does she serve except to be there? Is Maud Apatow's character. What's her name? Lexi? Isn't it Lexi? Lexi and Ruby. That's Rue's real name. We figured that out last episode. Ruby. Lexi and Ruby. In season 1, I thought that character was like a walk-on that would just leave and never come back. And then we found out, we were like, oh wait, that's the sister of Cassie. And then I say to myself, why do we care? That character to me is so boring and useless and completely uninvolved in any aspect of her own life, to the point that she feels that a good usage of her time is to write, I can't believe an autobiographical play that she is going to put on with nobody suspecting that it's about her own life at the school. And that is her arc for the season. Quick question. Why? You couldn't have figured out anything else that you wanted to do with that character? Why is she here? Is Judd Apatow funding Euphoria? Is that why Maud Apatow is in this? Why? Come on, bro. She's doing all this to do a play? A play, dude? Ooh. A play that nobody, while reading it, maybe even thinks for a second might be her life, that she has just... Has the administration read this play? They okayed it. She's going to put it on, which I don't know about you, but I don't know any high schools that are okaying a random student-run production of a self-written autobiographical... I have to leave. I have to go. I can't be doing this. Are you kidding? Are you kidding me? You introduced Elliot and this random blonde character. Yeah, gave nothing to Maud Apatow, still, who is still collecting a paycheck for no reason. Girl, what acting has Maud Apatow done in this show? What has she done? What, is there any single scene of relevance that she is not just belligerently making fun of her sister for the decisions that Cassie has made, or ignoring Rue for whatever fucking reason, even though they're like, we're friends, right? They need to assess every single scene. You ever notice that? That in every single scene with the two of them, they have to reiterate that they are friends. They have to reiterate that they have been friends since school, because the chemistry there is none. There is none. There is no chemistry there. There is nothing there. Period. Bottom line blank. Nothing. Now I know that eventually in the season, hopefully, because of what they set up in episode 1, she is eventually going to have something with Fez. I mean, frankly, I thought the scene where she tried to talk to him and saw that girl, the blonde, at the store was one of the funniest scenes of this fucking show, because it's like they're in two very different shows and it is hilarious. She's in a YA romance. She is in a YA comedy romance, and he is in an HBO show, Euphoria. No, I'm kidding. He is Walter White. And just the whole, like, the ridiculous hope that she has that because she's so starved for attention, that the drug dealer who does not go to their school, who she met a few times, who may or may not have been the reason that her childhood friend has now become addicted to drugs, is now the love interest, is beyond me. I cannot...
What the fuck is going on in here on this day?
That character... Why are you paying Maud Apatow? Why are you paying Maud Apatow to be in this show? What is she doing? I'm sorry. In season 1, you're like, okay, you're like a third-rate bit character in the background until you find out that it's Maud Apatow, Judd Apatow's daughter. And then you really say, what, was she not good enough for any of the other characters? Why is she playing that character? Did Sam Levinson write her in just to appease Judd Apatow? I ask these questions. I need to know. I wonder, I ponder on these things. Because I can't see a single other goddamn reason that she's here. Can you? I mean, unless some miracle occurs by the end of the show. But even then, it would be like throwing the character a bone, because you're like, okay, at least let's give you some reason to be here, some relevance to the rest of us. If Cassie was a only child, nothing about this show would have changed. Let that sink in for a second. If Cassie was an only child, nothing would have changed, except the one time that Rue borrowed piss from Maud Apatow. And she really could have got that from fucking anywhere. I'll die by that. Oh, and one more question while I'm here and was pondering on it. Yo, Rue's mom really let Rue scream at Jules that whole time during that entire monologue? I was thinking about that. I sat back, I was thinking about that. I was watching that monologue, I'm like, this is a very long time to be letting your daughter mouth off at her girlfriend and say the meanest shit ever. And the mom's just sitting there like this. Like she is overseeing a play date between the two of them, not her drug addict, spun out daughter screeching obscenities at her girlfriend who was nice enough to tell you that your daughter is still addicted to drugs. But you're like, let me just sit back. Oh, these kids these days, they're so crazy. Look at the way oh my God, we could never talk to each other like that, but like, whatever, they're girlfriends. So like, I don't know what that's like. No, I'm kidding. All I'm saying is like, why? She was sitting there watching her daughter tear into this poor girl. And she was just like, get it all out, honey. Get it all out. Because tomorrow you're going back to the psychiatry unit. It was so bizarre to me. I'm like, damn, she's really standing there letting this girl like...
I agree. I've had it, and I'm. You know what I've had? It.
We're at the Comedy Central roast of Jules currently, but I mean, go off, I guess. But like, damn. Do I have anything else I want to say about this season? Oh yeah, I'm gonna go pull up those spoilers, and we're gonna talk about them. Who knows? Maybe this video will turn out to be totally horrible. Will age like worse like milk. It'll age like The Apprentice. Maybe this video will age like The Apprentice, and then the rest of the season will right all the wrongs that I have just brought up, or it will just ignore them and continue as is, and things will just be so good and so amazing. And isn't it just so awesome? And I was wrong the whole time. I mean, there is a possibility. Listen, the chances are slim but never zero that there is a possibility that they will turn out this season harder than Trixie Mattel turned out the win for RuPaul's Drag Race when she was flopping on her season. Okay, let me go get those spoilers.